All right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me adjust this real quick as it drops down. Thank you guys so much on the support for the video yesterday. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry, this thing's not. Oh, there we go. Got to tighten that. That's better. Let me know if you guys can hear me good. Put a one in the chat if you can. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. Been diving back into the Sebastian Rogers case and going over the footage. Everybody's been giving me different tips and links and stuff like that, so I do appreciate that. Yes, I did an overlay on the videos, and I know this isn't the first time people have dissected that video, but I've been sent some more footage that we're going to go over. One in particular shows the car. Well, it doesn't really show the car, but it shows the car's lights and stuff like that. And anyway, we're going to drop some bombs tonight, in my opinion. Of course, everything I'm going to share today is just in theory, but we're going to use, facts and evidence that we have, what little that we have in this case, to produce a theory. But we're going to put two incidences together, and I don't know if any channel has ever done this before. They may have, but we'll get to that much later. But when we line these two different incidences together, the lights and something else, they both line up together, and holy shit. So anyway, before I get too ahead of myself, we always like to feature the missing before we get started. So before we get into Sebastian Rogers, I always look up, a recent missing person case. And since we're covering Tennessee, it looks like there's 3 endangered kids. Looks like we've got 12-year-old, and I might butcher these names, so I apologize in advance. 12-year-old Aki Bakari Warren, 8-year-old Amina Hood, and 5-year-old Amir Warren. I hope I got those right. It looks like the 2 sisters are pictured. Kiri Bakari. One's not pictured, which is the 5-year-old Amir. But Bakari and Amina are featured. And it looks like the father, so this is kind of a custodial issue. And so there's an alert going out. And this was on July 16. And just in the notes here, just kind of reading over here. Give me a second. So it says that they were believed to be with their non-custodial father, the 3 kids. He's 6'2", 250 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, which is featured here. 43 years old. They're from Knoxville, Tennessee. Anyway, of course, they were looking for him and the kids. Looks like he took off with them. And if you do come across them or live out there, keep a lookout for them. And if you see anything, you can call 1-800-TBI-FIND or 865-215-7165. And just one more time, here's the pictures. Again, there's 8-year-old, 12-year-old, and there's a 5-year-old that's not pictured. And this is the non-custodial parent. Here, do we have the name of him? Does it say? It doesn't say his name, does it? That's interesting. Huh. That's weird. All right, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, if you live out there in that way, keep an eye out for them. Oh no, okay, so it's right there. It's a key. I'm sorry, I'm looking down here. Okay, so a key, Warren, 43. All right. Okay. I was confused when it said Aki Bakari. I'm like, wait a minute, did they double the name up? But okay, so obviously he's senior and junior. All right. Moving on to Sebastian Rogers' case. I know yeah, let's hope this doesn't go wrong. Because that was what, July 16, and that was a little over a month ago. Today's the 23rd. So hopefully, that could be resolved. So, Again, if you're just coming in, please hit that like button. We're going to go over a lot. If you saw the video that came out yesterday, I kind of broke things down, got a lot of great feedback. And then I got sent some more footage that we're going to look into that actually shows. So technically, if you're familiar with this case, there was the light video that came out. There was originally like a 5-second clip, and then there was, I think, like a minute 13, something like a minute and a half video, which showed the lights going longer. And then at some point, this is when I kind of got out of the case because it just felt like there wasn't really much to talk about. But then there were some other videos that were released. They're very short, but one of them actually shows, in my opinion, a suspicious vehicle that is literally sitting right outside where the lights are going on. So we'll break all that down. And then, like I said, if you listened to me earlier, there's two incidences, the lights and something else that we'll bring up. And we're going to put those together, and oof, it's big. So let's, if you're not familiar with Sebastian Rogers' case, we'll just play a 2-minute recap just to get everybody caught up to speed. But this is Sebastian Rogers. Autistic, went missing February 26th. He was last seen on the 25th, which was a Sunday. And let's listen to his disappearance, and then we'll get into it, and I can read chat here.
2008 Traffic Court, 1008 Traffic Court, Michigan. Caller advised this morning they was having a 15-year-old male talking to bed. We are right now 3 blonde hair back my bed, but we're going to turn down. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. You know, those have a kind of autism. It's the first time it happened. I was going to be in the home before midnight. All the doors are locked at this time.
Just wondering.
Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic teenager who lives in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was last seen Sunday night on February 25th by his mother, Katie Proudfoot. The next morning, on the 26th, his mother went to wake Rogers up and get him ready for school, but Rogers was nowhere to be seen. Sebastian Rogers was allegedly wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, his glasses, and his keychain flashlight. They also claimed that all of his shoes were accounted for, which means he is most likely barefoot. His case has garnered a lot of media attention, which has helped get his tragic story out to the masses. There has been numerous searches for Sebastian Rogers, including a landfill search in the beginning, to groundwater and air searches.
To censor myself, holy freaking crap, this can't be happening, where is my kid? Choice words were used. Where the F is he, I had looked through the house for him, because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that, and he likes to dip behind the, walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But, after I looked, and mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat, but, I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over, I ran through the whole house, I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name, and, I picked up the phone and I called my husband, and I said, I can't find him, and he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house, I can't find our son, and, I jumped in my car, and I drove around the neighborhood, and I drove over by the school, and he's already, at this point, I was, hysterical, and I was crying, and I was screaming, and, he was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement, and, was telling them, our son is missing, and we don't know what's going on, and he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way, and I drove back to the house, and,
You can see that the two lights at the top, which have been assumed to be floodlights. Okay, so that was just a little recap, and so now, this always acts weird when I switch back over. Let me adjust this real quick. So yeah, I kind of got out of the case, because there really wasn't much going on, in the beginning, the first month. We had the lights, then we had the dogs, which we're going to talk about as well. And then from there, it was really just kind of, a little bit of drama. and it just, nothing. It's like he just vanished, and it just didn't feel right. Something an autistic boy just wandering off, and they, no signs of him, and there's oftentimes, statistic wise, if an autistic child runs off, the most statistic is they would be found in a body of water. And it just so happens, Sebastian Rogers was attracted to water. The family has said that. But yet, they've searched many bodies of water around there. They've done a lot of searching, as we heard in the beginning here, and nothing. And so, usually in cases like this, I always like to go back to the beginning and just, look at everything and examine it in every different, under a different light, per se. And so anyway, I put that video out yesterday, and like I said, you guys really enjoyed it. I know some people wanted me to line it up differently. I'll try to do a different look at it, a different angle. But let me play this real quick as we check for chat. But I'm going to put, like I said, we're going to show this, and then we're going to show the footage. If you haven't seen it, there's 2 other videos. So apparently these lights, the subject lights, apparently they come from, in my opinion, from between the Sebastian house and the house that's got the floodlights. I believe these are floodlights. But then there's also another video where it looks like the light actually goes back to between the yards, which is interesting. And we'll talk about all that stuff. And then the suspect's vehicle, or suspicious car, but it could be the suspect's car if it was an abduction.
And using this line, we can determine that those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck. Using this method, we can determine exactly where those lights are coming from. So looking at where that truck was parked that night, seen in this overview, photo here taken the day of, we can then use a Google Street image and line up approximately where that truck was parked. Notice we add the red line and look at where it takes us. There is a house exactly across the street. This house is next to the Rogers residence. This home has its garage facing towards the camera. It also has 3 garage doors on it. Guess what? That's right, it has floodlights above each garage door. So here, I am taking a street Google view of the direction of the camera,
Thanks,
and
Mark
then
and Betty.
adding the security footage overlaid into the Google image. And notice how the floodlights do line up with the image. But because the footage itself was filmed with a phone, it is a bit shaky and doesn't always line up. But this does give you an example of where everything is taking place. The lights labeled
Right.
as subject 1 and 2 are moving across the 2 yards. So the big question is, are they flashlights or something else? And where are they coming from exactly, and where are they going to? What I'm about to show you next will shock you to your core.
So I know if you guys had seen this video yesterday, this is just like 3 minutes of that video from yesterday. I just kind of want to line some stuff up. Now keep in mind, it's really hard because to overlay something like properly, I would need to be standing exactly like under the camera and have somebody take a photo to properly overlay something. So keep in mind, it's almost near impossible to overlay a video that's gonna, accurately represent what's going on. So do keep that in mind, especially how I explained, I cut the first part out from the video, but if you don't know, the person that filmed it with the phone. So, and it was kind of shaky. So, they had the security video, and then either the reporter or the homeowner, they had the surveillance. They were recording it, but, they were kind of a little shaky. And so that's why,
Because the angle of the camera,
you get the, shakiness. But this is the one thing that really helped me, because I'm like, the lights were not lining up right. It looked like they were just coming out of the ground. And then I realized, because of the angle of the camera and the street, you got 2 different angles going on. And so
is not quite level with the street. I realized that in order to match up the footage and image correctly, it needed to be tilted a bit to match the angle of the camera footage. And by doing this, literally put all the pieces to the puzzle together. And what you're...
Because if you think about it, this is the hood of the truck. So obviously if we want this to be, lined up, right side up, we need to tilt this because obviously this truck is going up. So we need to tilt it. And
about to see, in my opinion, is exactly what happened that night. And pay close attention to where those lights are coming from. I also fixed the footage the best I can to keep...
See, now we got the truck right side up. So that's now accurately representing what we can overlay. Because before, if you're overlaying how it is normally, the lights are going to be completely off. So that's when it's like, oh, okay, now things are going to start lining up.
Lined up with the garage. Notice we can see subject 1 just behind the house to the right. Then we see subject 2 literally come out from behind the house to the left. This subject literally came from the yard shared by the Proudfoot's home. As subject 2 heads towards subject 1, we noticed that the light disappears right behind the gazebo between the two homes. As we continue to watch, notice that it seems like subject 1 is waiting for subject 2 to get closer.
Now I do want to mention subject 1 may actually be a light from this house. It appears to be moving because, and this is what's really hard, but there is 2 subjects, because in another video we'll see that there is actually 2 lights going on. So there is 2 subjects out there, for those that don't know this. So it's possible this light could just be the light, maybe from this house here. And so we got floodlights here and a light here. And the reason why it looks like subject 1 is moving is because we're kind of zoomed in. And again, it's the whole camera thing where the guy's kind of moving the camera. And so if you pay attention, if this is moving and this is moving, so keep in mind, if something's stationary and somebody's filming it and they're shaking, both things should be moving at the same time.
As if guiding this person to a car waiting nearby. Noticed as we wait for subject 2 to reappear, we see that subject 1 now moves behind the home to the right, and we can't...
But it's so weird because it's almost like it goes out of frame, yet if it was stationary and it was going to go out of screen, you would think we would be kind of panning to the left, and these lights would be more in frame, and that would just pan out. So I don't know, it's weird, but there is 2 subjects for sure.
Then we see subject 2 reappear to the right of the gazebo. Noticed as subject 2 moves to the right, there are trees, and the light shimmers as it moves, closer to the home on the right. I believe this is not a coincidence that Rogers goes, missing the same night that around 3 a.m. Lights are coming from the direction of Rogers' home and the neighbor mentioning an unidentified vehicle parked on the street nearby. Here is me zooming in on where subject 2 is coming out from, and noticed it clearly pops out just behind the home to the left.
And that's the best overlay I can do. I know some people have, said to maybe move it over a little bit. And like I said, I'm still experimenting. But since I got new footage that I had to, prepare for today's show, I didn't get a chance to really mess with this footage today. But I promise you, I've got some very interesting things to show you guys.
The same yard that's shared by the Proudfoot's home.
And it's just so interesting that these lights, especially just subject 2, that it appears, and if this is overlay is fairly accurate, it interacts with the stuff that is there. The gazebo, we know there's a ditch that runs along back here. So, if this person's walking along, of course the light's going to disappear because he's going to walk down into this ditch. He's behind the gazebo. There's another tree. Of course, it's, February, so the leaves aren't really there. But still, you've got objects. And you're going to go lower, so you're going to be blocked. So the timing all adds up.
In my opinion, I believe this footage shows the potential abduction of Rogers. Here is a quick clip by the neighbor explaining that there is an unidentified car parked nearby when these lights are moving around.
The flashlights are coming from 2 different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. Backs up Kellen and leaves. And then 2 or so hours later, as the sun is just beginning to come up, you can see the trash truck. And she said, but the trash truck goes past her driveway. She said you can see the trash truck and the lights and the back of the truck go past her driveway, go up the hill, do its business,
Thanks,
turn
Morgan
around, come
Betty.
back down, and then within a few minutes later, the sun is coming up, and then you can.
Okay. All right. So these are the new videos that were, they've been out there for a while. Some of you, if you've probably followed this case, have seen them. We're going to break some of them down. I'm really focusing on the vehicle because the vehicle is obviously the way it's, the behavior of the vehicle is so suspicious that to me, that this is going on the same night as the night that he disappears. It's not a coincidence. So, again, we've got over 400 people in here. Thank you guys so much. We're going to show the vehicle here in just a second. You can't see the vehicle, but you can see the lights from it. And you can tell it's a vehicle, and we're going to break this all down. And I'm still trying to, do some different lighting and overlays, and just to see if I can figure, the size of the vehicle. I'm sure there's some ways that we could kind of at least decipher how big this vehicle is. But let me play this clip real quick. This is one of the new clips. Now notice up here, and I'll zoom in if you can't see it. It goes fast, so I'm going to slow it down. So you probably don't know what you're looking at, and I will explain it here in a minute. But not this. This is the truck we know. It's this and this. And I'll play it again, and I'll slow it down, and I'll explain what we're looking at here. Because it looks weird. I'm sure it's just like, what the hell is this? So again, this is in slow motion. Notice how the lights, notice how that illuminated. Let me back that up just a little bit. Keep your eye. Watch how it like streams out like a headlight. And notice this light comes on at the same time. Notice this comes on and this comes on at the same time. Boom. That is wild. That is definitely headlights from a car, and what you're seeing, that little light there, is the tail light of the car. Sadly, this could be a black car, but what we're looking at is headlights, and that's kind of shining the ground or whatever, and that is a tail light right there. So we now know that that's a vehicle for sure. Because they both come on. Both lights come on at the same time. I'll play that one more time if you missed it. And we'll break it. Oops. I backed it up just a little too much. There we go. Watch it. They both come on at the same time. Boom. As if the car was parked there and they kicked on the lights. And so it lit up the tail light. And it lit up the headlights, which means that car was sitting there and may even drove up, parked there without its headlights on. Why would a vehicle be doing that at 3 o'clock in the morning? Right? Why is a car driving without its headlights, even if it's just for a few seconds? Why? What would be, that there's, clearly, and so if you're wondering when that is, here's obviously the home that's got the surveillance. So here's the truck. This would be approximately where the car would be. I'm assuming it's a car. It could be, could be SUV. We don't know. Still trying to, but notice how that illuminates, just like a beam. I'm sure we've all turned our headlights on and it streams out, and clearly this light comes on at the same time, meaning that is a tail light, and we are looking at a car sitting there. So that is where the car is sitting at, which is, it just gives me goosebumps because I wish I would have known about this footage a long time ago. Bear says, I also think that car is blacked out car. It could be, for sure. Awesome, Bear. I will, if I get a chance, I'll check them out towards the end of the live. I appreciate it. But there's just a couple looks at it, and we're gonna move on. But we almost got 500 people in here. I do appreciate you guys. It takes a lot to put this stuff together. If you can, please hit that like button. There's plenty of ways to support the channel. Venmo, PayPal. Want to become a member? We're going to be doing some interesting stuff with the members that I'm going to talk about at the end of the show. But I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the show. And I'm gonna put two things together that to me put this all in perspective. So this is the other video, and again, this is the one that's not zoomed out. So this is the one that we had originally, except instead of zoomed in, it's zoomed out. So we can see that light, how it's kind of stationary, but we do see there is another subject light. So there's actually 3 lights to the right here. We see we have this one, and I'll zoom in if you can't see it. Let me fix this here. Sensei says, thanks for all you do, Chris. Appreciate how much time and effort you put into these presentations and get all the footage. You are an earthly angel. Thank you so much, Sensei. It means the world. Definitely use the support. I appreciate it, Sensei. You are awesome. So yeah, here we've got this, what may be a stationary light, but we clearly have a light that's kind of illuminating along with this one. So we at least have definitely 2 subjects. Then this is the third video. And this is interesting because this one shows the light going back towards the Rogers area. Sadly, this footage is kind of really grainy. It seems like 2nd, 3rd generation photo or video, I'm sorry. But even then, it appears like there's 2 lights. But here it is. And it's going, and I think this video must be like fast forward because it seems like it's going pretty fast. I would love to get the original of this one. That's where the light is going back. But again, there it is, and then it disappears next to these lights. Included in those searches were handlers. So those are the 3 videos, and we'll break those down even more. But I'm going to talk about an incident that also happened with the scent dogs, and then we're going to put these 2 together. And yesterday when I had realized that they had the whole dog scent thing going on, and of course there was controversy over that, whether did they actually get hits or not, and the fact that they're being funny about that, and then with the lights, tells me that there's a connection, in my opinion. NFT, awesome work, Chris. Thank you so much for the 13 Canadian. I really appreciate it. It really helps. You are so awesome. You are a legend. Thank you so much. Rebecca, the house across the street from the house has cameras on the side in front of the home. The house across the street from this house. Boy, I would love to see that footage. Tim Bray coming in with a $5 super sticker. You are so awesome. Thank you so much, Tim Bray. Sorry, I almost messed that up. Here we go. So let's break down the other incident that happened. With scent dogs that seem to have gotten a hit that led them to a retention pond nearby. But those so-called hits have been a topic of debate. Some reports claim that those were positive hits, while others, including law enforcement, saying those hits were false positives. Oh, let me turn this down.
Yeah, and that's what.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember. At some point, a YouTube channel came in. They're called Narked Divers, I think. Is it Snarked or Narked Divers? But yeah, they do diving and stuff, which is amazing. I think they're kind of like trying to maybe be like Avengers with Purpose type of channel. But yeah, it seems like really great guys. They came along, and anyway, he posted a video. Now I don't think it's up on his channel anymore. Thank God I snagged it when I did. But so he speaks with Chris Proudfoot, because if you guys remember, there was the whole dog scent issue where, you know, it was originally said that they might have gotten a scent and that he tracked his scent to the retention pond, and then they kind of said, oh no, that's a false positive. And so here we go again. We have another incident where, just like the lights, where they're being funny about it, you know. So let's see what Chris said. Chris Proudfoot, not me.
That's what everybody kept saying, and I'm like, there's got to be.
So our if you're in that subdivision,
yeah,
directly, the next subdivision over to the left is our subdivision.
Okay.
It's called Victoria Place.
Okay.
The scent that they got, as soon as you turn in our subdivision, you're on Keller. Drive it all the way up to the very top of the hill at a four-way. You'll see that to the right, they're cutting in the new road that will link
All this together. Okay.
Yeah. That's where it stops at the retention pond.
And do you know how much they actually drained?
They drained the whole thing.
It's okay.
So initially, when they went over to look at it, it was only knee deep. From the picture that you showed me, there's a lot of new runoff.
Yeah, that's what
from
I was
where they're cutting. Yeah.
trying to figure out. I was like, I don't know.
Okay, so this is where, when I remembered, I'm like, oh God, there's this interview with the dogs. And when I went back, because I made that video yesterday, and I appreciate everybody's love and support. Everybody really enjoyed it. After that video, I came across this, I remembered about this interview, and I listened to it. And then when I heard, coming from Chris Proudfoot's own mouth, when I heard how he described they tracked his scent, I had goosebumps. And I'm like, holy shit. Holy shit. So let's listen to this.
I'm the only one that thinks that.
Narked. Okay, it's narked. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I
That's what I thought.
give you a little bit more information than what everybody's out there running their mouth.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going public with it.
No.
So to work backwards from the pond, okay, if you were to walk from the pond, go straight up into the construction site, you'll see where they cut the road and it turns left. If you walk that all the way back, runs you to our subdivision.
So right now he's talking about the scent that they tracked going backwards, but wait until he talks about it going forwards.
Okay.
If you go down Kellen, all the way down to Stafford, and walk down towards Stafford toward our house, from our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dog scent went. From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dog scent went. They started on the front porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
Okay, right here. Sorry, I was reading chat. All right, let's start this from the beginning, right? And I do it from how he's talking about, because, you know, he says right and stuff, but this is exactly how he says the dogs, and he says how many. I think there was a group of 7 to 10 dogs, and like 3 or 4 of them, you know, a good portion went to the retention pond. But watch the direction they go. And this is coming from Chris Proudfoot's own mouth.
From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dog scent went. From our house, if you're looking at my house, I'm going to tell you where the dog scent went.
Okay, so that's Chris Proudfoot's home, just for anybody that doesn't know where we're at. That's their home. This is the home that, in my opinion, has the floodlights on the other side. And so the lights that would be coming out would have been coming out this direction. Now, watch where he talks about where Sebastian Rogers scent went.
They started on the front porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go
Cut to the right. And he's talking about if you were looking at the house, you know, forward. So he means this way.
all the way down the side of the house. Along the fence.
Along the fence. This way here.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
If you're looking at my house,
Okay.
it's going to be the right hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally
It cuts diagonally
to the house next door to us
next door to us. Cuts diagonally next door to us.
through their backyard.
Through their backyard. Got goosebumps yet? The lights. Where were the lights seen?
And that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the main road, go up Kellen, and head over to the other subdivision.
Okay.
Day one, there was 5 dogs. On day one, the 5 dogs did that. Out of the 8 days, 3 different dogs from 3 different groups went to that same area in that same set.
3 different dogs, 3 different groups took that same exact route.
On day one, 2 of those dogs did the same path.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that was the Bloodhound and the Blue Tooth. That's why I was like, well, there we go, folks. That's why.
And then where did the strongest?
Boom.
There was a couple dogs.
Bingo.
Dogs that
Right.
went over to Longhorn
You got
Pike
chills yet?
and got there
And I'm going to break down my theory on how they pulled
Try to
this
figure
off
this out and keep on.
and what happened.
Just keep on.
So this phone call is kind of interesting, as Chris Proudfoot claims that there was multiple dogs that did get a scent trail, led from the front yard diagonally to onto Kellen Road, led up north, then cut over into the construction site and hit around the retention pond or lost the scent. And then he also claims that there was another dog that went south of Kellen onto Long Hollow Pike, and then from there lost his scent, which is interesting. So we're going to explain all those. Kim McDonald... Kim McDougald? I probably butchered that. I'm just going to say Kim McD for right now, so I don't butcher that. I'm so sorry. It's a little small where I got it right now, but I appreciate you becoming a member and supporting the channel. You are a legend. Thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate that. Oops. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's remember, look at the lights. Where did they come from? And we'll look at a top-down view, and we're going to put them both together. But again, these lights are definitely coming in this direction. You know, I could be off a little bit. Again, you got to remember, I'm working with footage that's moving, so I can't overlay it, you know, represent it exactly 100%, because I would have to have a picture, or almost actually have the surveillance footage, you know, shot from a daytime, you know, and get a screenshot from that, and then I could overlay it perfectly. That'd be the best way to do it. That'd be awesome. If the homeowner or anybody knows the homeowner could give me just a screenshot of a daytime, you know, that would be awesome, because then we could just overlay it just perfectly. But here we go. These lights are coming, in my opinion, obviously through this yard. I mean, I mean, you know, these lights, whatever they are coming through this yard. And they are coming through the same exact way that, more or less, than
Flashlights are
how
coming
the
from 2 different
dogs
directions.
had picked up the scent. Is that a coincidence? And then we have a suspicious car, which we're going to get back to the suspicious car in a minute, but we're still just going to put these two together. But what are the odds? The dogs catch the scent, go diagonally.
In between the yards, they do whatever they're doing around the car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. I'm sorry, backs up Kellen and
Appreciate
leaves.
it.
And then
They started on the front porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
If you're looking at my house,
Okay.
it's going to be the right-hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog comes all the way back up into the yard, and then it cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard.
Amazing. Absolutely wild. So I have a theory on how they may have pulled this off. Like I said, I'm like, holy shit. This could. I was talking to some people, kind of getting some insight from others to see how my theory may hold up, and they thought it was pretty good. So I'm going to share it with you guys. But in my opinion, now it's possible he could have been abducted by an unknown group, and it's not connected to the family. In my opinion, I think it's the other way. But that's just theory, obviously. But the fact that we've got the lights that are going on in the same area where the dog supposedly got the scent in the beginning, how can you not be, why are they being fishy about that? It's clear that they're connected, in my opinion. Maddie's mom says, great job covering this story, Chris. Thank you so much, Maddie. I really appreciate it. It really helps. If you, by chance, donate PayPal or Venmo, please let me know, or let my mods know so I can shout you out in the chat. Because sometimes I don't get the notification right away. So how did they pull this off? Because the scent not only went diagonally, but then it went straight up the street and went to the retention pond. But I think, yes, I think they, either inside job or whatever, they carried Sebastian out, or, if it was obviously family related, they would have just, escorted him through the yard to this car. And then, of course, they would have captured his scent. This is just a look at it from a different angle. Obviously, this is where the car would have backed up, because remember, it parks on Stafford just in front of the camera, but then it backs up on Kellen. But, I know why I'm showing this footage. So we have the car that, supposedly comes up Kellen, and it parks on Stafford, and then it backs up and comes down there. So why is the car, out of all the places, why is the car there? And I was like, I want to look at this, from a first person's perspective. Sorry. And it kind of hit me. I'm like, well, it's 3 a.m., but, if you were doing this, because obviously you're not going to do it in front of your house, and if it was an inside job, they probably know about the camera, and so that's why they don't want to go past that camera. And I figured they probably didn't want to park on this road, because you got all these homes, that are facing. So we just kind of look around. We got homes on both sides. That somebody could be, going to the bathroom at night, or whatever, and could have seen the vehicle. I was kind of looking to see if there was like lights or something, as maybe they didn't want to park here. But why not park right here where really you've got garages on both sides? There's no really main windows here. It's a perfect spot, because you're really not in front of the homes. They're the front yard and stuff like that are facing the other way. So that would be an ideal place to park. And I think the reason why they parked where they did as well is that floodlight was probably on. And of course, if it was an inside job, they may have known about this surveillance camera. But they probably didn't realize the angle that it had, like a wide, maybe like a fisheye kind of, or a panoramic angle on the camera, if it was an inside job. So they may have thought it was kind of pointed more towards the vehicles, because it really does. It looks like the camera's almost pointing straight down and not really capturing this kind of part of the neighborhood. So the car would have probably stopped right here. But so why would a car do that, at 3 o'clock in the morning, and clearly have its headlights off for some time? All right, so let me get to chat, and then I'm going to show show you guys my theory, and then we're also going to break down that car some more. I ran some different filters and see what your guys' theories are as well. Yeah, a lot of people think all three are sus. And I'm going to be honest with you guys before I share this. In the beginning, because I've seen it happen before, where there's just some people that are not good in social media, in the social media world, and like Chris Proudfoot, he's a dick. I'm sorry, he's an a-hole. I'm sorry. Now that doesn't mean he's a killer, but he comes off as a prick. But anyway, I didn't really think they were. I didn't think they were involved, in my opinion, in the beginning. I felt like, they came off different in the beginning. Maybe, some people just aren't good with interviews, and that's how I kind of felt in the beginning. And then, once you do an interview, and if it doesn't go right, people are obviously going to dissect it, and it's kind of hard to come back from that. So anyway, I didn't think they were. I thought it was more of he may have ran away or an outside job. But now looking at all this and how everybody's being funny, and now connecting all these dots, it's freaky. So let's get into this. So remember, they use scent dogs, right? So dogs use a combination of human and environmental scents to track people. This is very interesting. If you guys didn't know this about your dog, so I'm going to share something if you didn't know about this. Dogs can identify, so when they track scents, they're usually tracking the ground and the scents left behind a person. They use the strength of their scent to determine the direction of the trail and follow it, moving towards areas where the scent is stronger. The theory is that the scent is most concentrated in the footsteps, so the feet. And the scent will disperse in a cone shape as it moves away from the source. Dogs can also work around obstacles like shrubs. Dogs are scented on an object and then find a person's scent in an uncontrolled environment. Dogs, they're attracted to your feet because you've got, I guess there's a lot of salt and what is it? Oh, it's in here. This is wild. Dogs track your feet because they are full of odors, obviously. They can tell. This is so wild. They can tell them about. Sorry, I got to read this again. Dogs track your feet because they are full of odors that can tell them about you, including what you've been doing, where you've been, how you're feeling, and what you have eaten. They've left this out, but they also can tell what you have eaten. That is so crazy. Dogs have a sense of smell, obviously we know, 10 to 100,000 times better than humans. And this is talking about the human. So feet are covered in sweat, salt, and pheromones. And so the dog scent receptors pick up on that. So if anybody didn't know, that's where they're picking up the scent, the strongest scent is in the feet. And that is so wild. Anyway. So that kind of got me thinking. So we know feet can stink because it's a combination of sweat, bacteria, and fungus. Sorry to get kind of... but I'm like, all right, how could they pull this off? Because clearly they tracked his scent up to the pond. And so this is my theory. So here's the vehicle again. For those that came in late, here's the lights, and here's the tail light. And we're gonna examine this a little bit more. But clearly the car itself is you can't see it. I'm still trying to run filters to see if I can get anything out of it. I'm assuming that it's got to be a dark colored car. So this is my theory on how they may have pulled this off. So, and this would be on the inside job part of it. Is they went to get Sebastian. It would be at least two people involved. They would escort Sebastian out to a vehicle. So now we've got his scent, obviously, and the lights lining up. So those two things line up, the scent and the lights coming across the yard. Those both line up. They get in the vehicle. And instead of the vehicle, driving up and maybe turning around in the circle, according to the neighbor, it backs up onto Kellen and then leaves. Why, if it was just a random person going through the neighborhood, why would they do that? And that doesn't, clearly there's something, suspicious about this. So how would they get his? So now we have his scent going to here, but how would they get his scent going up? Oh, I think I go. Oh, okay. I think I talked about the. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah. So they have the scent of him. I'm just trying to, because I love my visuals, and I'll pause it here in a minute. So in my opinion, what if they took an article of clothing, and what better than a sock, because the feet thing, and of course if a sock goes missing, law enforcement is gonna know. Socks go missing all the time, but something that has, something that Sebastian has worn. Remember, he was barefoot also as well. So take a sock. After they escorted him to the vehicle, one person with an article of clothing, I just say a sock because I think that would probably have the most scent of Sebastian Rogers, and they would walk up Killen Ave. They would cut over to the retention pond. Meanwhile, the car that has Sebastian Rogers in it now goes up and picks up that guy, or person, whatever. And they could have either destroyed the sock, at the retention pond. They could have bagged it up, or they just got picked up, and so the scent just ended at the retention pond, and the vehicle picks them up. So there you have your scent, and the scent ends at the retention pond because now they're picked up. Let me know what you guys think in chat, and then I also got one more part of this theory, because remember the scent. There was 2 scents that they picked up. You could have another way where you would have Sebastian Rogers just actually walk up Killen Ave and then pick him up at the retention pond. That could work as well.
And then what are the strongest?
And there was a couple dogs, like one dog went over to Long Hole Pike.
At 3 a.m. in the morning, it's pitch black. Remember that part on the other side is, that neighborhood on the other side is, a subdivision that's being built. Again, this is just theory. And then the scent, they tracked his scent also. Remember, most of the dogs tracked him over to the retention pond, but they also had a scent that went down to the Hollow Pike. Well, that could just be because when he got picked up in the car, maybe they had the window down for a bit, and it's just like the Maura Murray case and many other cases where they track a human scent and like on a road, and then all of a sudden the scent's gone, and they believe that's because they got picked up in a vehicle, and that's why they lost the scent. And I just think it's interesting that there's a couple dogs that actually tracked a scent about down here towards Hollow Pike, and then lost him, as if he got in a vehicle. So I wonder if that was his scent just kind of lingering from him being picked up from the car and being driven down. So let me know what you think. But I was just trying to think, how would they pull the scent off? And, maybe walking with an article of clothing. Again, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't think, it would just look like somebody's just walking through the neighborhood. And then you're just going to cut over into the subdivision that nobody's in.
Can talk about that you
Mattis says, my theory is CP didn't want Sebastian around. Katie didn't want him to leave and didn't want him to live with Dad, so she sent him off. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of theories, surrounding why he may have wanted to get rid of him. Because he was obviously, he was in a custody battle to get Faith. And then there was worry that Sebastian Rogers, because, there's the incident with him getting hit with the belt, and the CPS was involved as well. And they believe that maybe Sebastian Rogers could have been testified, in that hearing. And that would have been bad for, obviously, Chris Proudfoot. But I don't want to get too much into that. Obviously, Laura Lodge covers that in great detail. But now he says, no, Chris and Prater are not intelligent enough to do this. I don't know.
Think.
Here's them. I mean, look at this interview. It just doesn't look like... it's such a strange interview, but I just want to play a small clip because she says something really interesting in this, and then we'll get back to the car because I do run some filters on it.
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every
ex-military.
aspect.
Yep.
Everything from he got out and
right.
walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst.
Yeah.
And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
really trying not to go down that road because
Well,
we're gonna find him.
speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts,
Yes.
everybody knows.
Yes, that too.
Right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
The way she says that and looks down, and gosh, she talks so softly, and I have it turned up all the way, and you can barely hear that, but let me play that one more time.
Currently, where we're at. I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Really trying not to go down that road because
Well,
we're gonna find him.
speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
She knows that he's out there somewhere. I don't know. That gives me chills after looking at that. So continue on. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, that could also be as well. Yeah, he could have went to the pawn days before, even a week. I think they can track his scent up to 2 weeks. So yeah, it could have been prior to him going missing with the retention pawn. Most definitely.
One other question I have is, recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video? Or
Sure. So, there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay? And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on.
So this is the issue I have, because for those that are maybe new to my channel, I've worked with victims, with family members, especially mothers, that have missing children, Dylan Rounds and Aidan Clune, and I mean, they will do anything to find their missing boys. Anything. Candace Cooley went through hell, went on with social media, any platform that would take her to spread the awareness. She did everything. And Justin Rounds. Yeah, amazing family. And then, with Amy Clune, same thing. She would do anything, to bring her son home. And it just like, you don't get that feeling here, and if there's anything that could, like evidence-wise, that could relate to possible disappearance, they would be all over that. And the way that he is so nonchalant about this footage, I mean, what are the odds you've got this stuff going on the same night that your boy goes missing? It don't make sense. I would be all over it, you know? If I was in his shoes, I'd be like, man, I hope, like, you guys share that footage, dissect it, because there could be something in there.
Is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. Molly. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from.
Well, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? You don't want to share that footage. You don't want to share the only physical evidence, really. I mean, we don't have anything, really. And this is about the only physical evidence we have is surveillance footage. And we know how crucial surveillance footage in this day and age is to solving cases. It's huge. It's huge. There are literally shows based on surveillance footage where they talk, they use the grainiest footage at because of course, grocery stores, they have the old cameras, but they still, they'll study it and study it and study it. And then days, weeks, maybe months, they go back and they're like, holy shit, we see something in there. And that leads to them, a break in the case. And it's the opposite. And that just doesn't feel right.
But I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video.
So we're gonna inspect the car one last time if you missed it, and then we'll recap a little bit. But I appreciate everybody being in here. Anybody that's donated, and I saw someone with the PayPal. I also have the PayPal in the description. But I do appreciate the support. Spend many hours putting this stuff together. But if you can, at the very least, just hit that like button. And I thank everybody for being respectful in the chat. I know this this case has been pretty wild. It kind of reminds me of Summer Wells. But anyway, moving back to the car footage. This is the best I could do, and I'm going to work with it some more because I just only got it yesterday. And I'm hoping if anybody has any other originals they can send me. I know Bear has been supposedly sent me something. If I get a chance, I'll look at it. But if you missed it earlier, here's the overlay. So let me back it up just a little bit because it goes fast.
Details as far as where that video is shot.
Okay, so keep your focus here, and then I'll have it out with the overlay. But I tried to kind of line it up with the lights. Again, remember, I can't overlay this perfectly because I'm not standing where the camera's at. So it's not going to be perfect. But the car would be, and of course it's bouncing around and the person zooms in, but notice how it illuminates and this illuminates at the same time. Clearly this is a vehicle. Now, we could probably determine the size of the vehicle if we could get measurements of this truck, right? And then measure how, oh man, it'd be a lot, but I'm sure there's got to be a way to do some measurements to get an approximate size of this vehicle. It's definitely got to be a smaller vehicle, like a sedan, in my opinion. It could be an SUV, but I don't think it's a truck because it seems like the lights are low. But then again, it's really kind of tough to perfectly overlay this because again, like I said, we're much forward where the camera is much back, so but that's about where the car would be parked at. But again, this car comes down Kellen Avenue, parks on Stafford, does not go any further than the floodlights, and sits there, turns on its lights for some reason. Maybe that's when they're getting ready to leave. Maybe this is probably, unfortunately, since we have like 3 different clips and the timestamp up here is not working, it's kind of difficult to know the exact order of stuff that's going on. That's the kind of issue here. But here's me running a negative on it, and just to kind of show you, it does kind of illuminate it a little bit better, and I'll zoom in for you. Bobby says law enforcement is going to cover up the evidence selling it. I don't know what they're doing. You know, law enforcement as well. You know, they're being funny about the light video. And then the whole thing with the dogs, you know, they're being funny about that as well. But that's the negative, and me zooming in. But that's definitely a tail light, and we can kind of see some lights kind of illuminate. And that would be kind of probably where the front headlight on the left, that might even be the outline of it. It's kind of weird that it has that circle right there. Keep in mind, even though this truck is kind of bigger, this vehicle would be parked out a bit, so that's another thing that's kind of going to be difficult to really kind of size everything up, because again, this car's further out than this truck, which means it's going to be smaller. So but it does look like an outline of a headlight almost. So again, here's just kind of how the car would have reacted. Oops, I think I went. But yeah, again, why would a car go right there, stop, have its headlights off, turn its headlights on, back up, and come back down? It's too fishy. Bear says, also, Chris, trash trucks have laws of lighting they have to abide by. Oh yeah, I mean we kind of looked at that, Bear. I don't know if you saw my other live. I showed a bunch of different trash trucks, and the one that they actually use, because there's different garbage trucks, and there's ones where it just has the driver, and they have the arm. Then there's others like this neighborhood where they actually have a driver, and then maybe a driver, and then maybe one or another person helping them on the back, where they actually roll the garbage cans, and then there's like a mechanical arm on the back. And that's the whole reason if you didn't know, the reason why they searched the landfill is because they manually pulled the garbage can over to the garbage truck. Then it has an arm on the back, and I guess he thought he felt it was heavier than usual, and that's what led to the whole landfill thing. Kathy B says the tail light is long, tall, and is taller than the headlights. Definitely an SUV. Ooh, interesting. I like that. Yeah, and if you're watching this after, please put in the comments your theories and thoughts on this, and I am going to try to do what I can to see if I can enhance this. If anybody knows where I could find other footage, maybe the original. Gosh, man, I wish the homeowner was watching and could send me something. I would break this down all day to figure this out. But here it is in its original form. again, that's the floodlights, and the lights come, you know, kind of come about like right here. All those things going on the same night he goes missing. It's not a coincidence. I'm sorry. Now, it could be an outside job and he got kidnapped by an outside source. It's certainly possible. But I think this shows him being kidnapped. That's just my opinion. Whether it's an inside job or not, you know, that's up, you know, it's up to debate and research. But a lot of people are saying SUV. I'm going to have to, you guys want to see me try to overlay an SUV real quick? I could whip it. I could whip one up real quick if you guys want me to. Can someone put in the chat what SUV? So here's the lights and the negative, but I think we'll try one real quick. Oh shit! All right, let me get to chat. I see a lot of stuff going on in chat. Give me 1 second, and we'll get to chat here. I appreciate everybody being in here. And if you missed some stuff, I'll recap like 10 minutes. What do we want? So we need a left side side view. What do you think? Let me know. I don't know. Does that tail light look like that? That's a little too much. Be more like a tail light like that, right? If you got a specific vehicle in mind, let me know in chat. Equinox SUV. Infiniti QX80. QX80. Oh, no, not 90. 80. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Oh. Let's see. Oh, I need side view of that. Okay. This one looks... See if I can get one without that background. What do you guys think? Like that? Small SUV. That's a big SUV. A Scion. Oh, a Scion. Yeah, I think a Scion. Side view. Alright. We'll just grab one. Oh my gosh. You know what? Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a winner. That is a winner. Those taillights, holy shit. Those taillights are so thin, and that's how it looks, too. I think we got a winner here. Okay, give me a second. My computer's going to freak out. Now you can see the madness. This is how I prepare my lives. This is my live show for today. This took me, I started last night. So I spent a lot of time putting stuff together because I like visuals. But I'm going to get to chat, I promise. I just want to get this ready, and then I'll get to you guys' comments here. But oh my god, that Scion. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's take this. Oh wait, no, I need the vehicle. That's right, I need the vehicle. Okay, let me slow this down just a little bit more. Way more. About. Yeah, right there. Alright. Just a second. Alright, where is that Scion? Yeah, I like that Scion. I like the taillights on that. The taillight. Really thin. You guys get to see behind the scenes how I put my stuff together here. Boop. Ooh. Oh, gosh damn. Let's see. Let me. Wait, are you gonna let me tilt it? There we go. Right about. Oof. Sorry, I'll make it bigger like that. Oh, I can't move it when I do it like that. But let me fade it a little bit. Let me get the light. I like that tail light though. It's gonna be hard because it's not quite level. So keep in mind, it's gonna be almost impossible to like line it up perfect because I'm working with a car. Oh my god, that light though, if I could get it just right. I know it's probably hard to see. Right there, holy shit. Let me zoom out. Oh my god. Look at that. Because yeah, it is. It feels like a really small tail light, like elongated. Whoever put Scion, and I'm sure there could be other SUVs. I apologize if I missed. Would be here all night, but man, that really does seem like a really thin tail light. You know, it's not, you know, kind of coming in. Right. Oops. It's hard. I wish whoever did this did not zoom in and just kept it steady. Man, it makes it so hard to do stuff. Man, that right there, I'm going to take a screenshot. Woo. I think you guys are right. An SUV at the very least. I mean, that, again, it's not going to be perfect. I'd have to work with it. It takes a while, but all right, I got to get to chat here. But I'm just going to blow that up for a minute. Oof. It is. I'm sure there's other SUVs that kind of got taillights like that, but I think that's a tip. I think that whatever taillight, it's got to be one like that, in my opinion. That's amazing. So that's just, you know, putting your heads together. Renee gifting a Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much, Renee. Yeah, we're getting low on our memberships. We got to get back up there. We're going to do something for the memberships. We're going to talk about that at the very end. Thank you so much, Renee. We hit 200 memberships. You know, we're going to come up with something like where I shave my head or I wear lipstick or, you know, something fun, you know, for the members live show. And we'll have the members come up with some stuff. Betty Maggers, awesome work, Chris. Thank you so much for the $10 and the membership. I appreciate the support. You are a legend. Thank you so much. Cecil Hotel. Ooh, it's a creepy hotel. Love the name. Thanks, Chris, and thank you so much for the $2. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Barbara Hall says, I don't even believe in coincidence. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and when it comes to, you know, when I used to kind of collab with a former officer, you know, said there's no coincidences in crime. So, yeah, Honda CRV, yeah, they've got, yeah, that's, yep. A lot of people are saying Infiniti QRX, Chevy Equinox. Yeah, it's got to be something that's got that tail light, you know, that's set up basically. Oh, you can't see that from this angle, but yeah, it's got to be a thin tail light that's long, not like, you know, where it comes in. Trying to find another one, you know, where you got the tail light that comes much more in, you know, we'd see more light. We'd see kind of a triangle. We don't see that. We see, even this is a Scion right here. Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, the Scion here. Yeah, but that's, oh, That's the picture itself. But so let me recap and get the chat here. If you missed the combination of what I was talking about, we'll put those together and then read some chat, and then we'll head out. Again, if you did do PayPal or Venmo, please just let me know in the chat or let my mods know so I can shout you guys out. And if you have any suggestions for me to overlay, just please put them in the chat. But if you missed the first part, I just wanted to recap that, we have the lights going on. Obviously, clearly that they're going on between the 2 yards, and it appears that light is coming from behind Sebastian Rogers' home. So not only do we have that going on, but then I remembered that there was an interview done with Chris Proudfoot and Narc the Divers where they talked about the scent. And what just really hit me is the fact that he literally, and I'll just play this one little bit.
Porch.
Okay.
Because off the front porch, the dogs cut to the right. They go all the way down the side of the house along the fence.
So they went to the back side, or that
Right.
to the north.
Ooh, Highlander.
If you're looking at my house,
Okay.
it's going to be the right-hand side. The dog goes all the way down the fence. The dog
Right.
goes all the way back up into the yard, and then
Thank you, Tara.
cuts diagonally to the house next door to us through their backyard. And that is the direction which the dogs take off. Now after that, that's where they get over to the main road, go up Kellen, and head over to the other subdivision.
Okay.
Day one, there was 5 dogs. On day one, the 5 dogs did that. Out of the 8 days, three different dogs from 3 different groups
Chevy Equinox.
went to that same area and that same set. On day one, 2 of those dogs did the same path.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that was the Bloodhound and the Blue Tick. That's why I was like, well, there we go, folks. That's why.
And then where to the strongest?
And there was a couple dogs, like one dog went over to Long Hole Pike and got there and he lost his scent.
Try to figure this out and keep on. Just keep on.
So this phone call is kind of interesting, as Chris Proudfoot claims that there was multiple dogs that did get a scent trail led from the front yard diagonally onto Kellen Road, led up north, then cut over into the construction site and hit around the retention pond or lost the scent. And then he also claims that there was another dog that went south of Kellen on. Okay, so I was just kind of looking up because I like when we can all participate. And so let me just put it there. So that's the taillight, right? We know that's the taillight. So I was looking up vehicles, because I didn't. I like that. What did we have originally? It's the Scion, right? I looked up the Infinity. Everybody keeps saying Infinity, but to me, it's got a little bit wider. It's got the triangle. Unless I'm missing the model QX80. Yeah, I have the QX80. I don't know about that because it's got to be elongated, in my opinion. It's funny though. A lot of people are saying the Infinity. I feel like that Scion. Again, this is it's up. It's very thin. Do they have a Scion? Does any of the family have a Scion? Is that what we use? We use the Scion, right? Could you imagine just by figuring out a tail light, and then especially like this tail light, if that's, because that is very thin. That's not really again, I know I've just been talking about this, but I really think you could at least decipher from the tail light. What was that, a Highlander? No, that one's got, no, that's got a, because like, look at that tail light. That would be, you can't really see it, but clearly that, that's going the other way almost. So it's got to be a thin one, in my opinion. I don't know. I've been trying to pull some up, but yeah, I think the Scion has been the biggest, a great fit. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It needs to be vertical. Yeah. I looked up the Chevy Equinox. Not quite. It's close, but it's not quite. It still kind of comes in. So far that Scion is just like that. The Scion, yeah. I mean this here, 2014. I mean that's a. Sorry, I'm blocking the thing there. But yeah, that thin tail light. That's what I'll play the. Let me play the slow down footage one more time for you guys. And get the rest of the chat. Let's see. Check my phone. Great show. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Renee coming in with a PayPal. Thank you so much. You are so sweet. Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate your comment. Sometimes I don't. Oh, there you are. Christina, there you are. Member for 14 months. Been a huge supporter of the channel. Knocking another live out of the park, sir. Top quality content as always. So I guess I'll continue to support you for another couple of months at least. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we've got Bellinger. Hopefully I pronounce it. Nolani Bellinger. I hope I pronounce that right. Or Noelani. Nolani? Thank you so much for becoming a member and renewing your membership. That's awesome. So we got 750 people in here. Man, that's how long have we been going on for? We started at 5 at the 6:30 mark. We looked up a couple of cars. I feel like that Scion is a close fit. Now, just because of that, and that's all because you guys. I mean, I mentioned the taillights, but you guys started mentioning the models. So now it's going in and look at the different models, and it kind of feels like whatever this car is not that big. That's why that Scion feels like that would be a good fit, because look at the truck, and look at, let's see, do I have the car? Where I put the car? Yeah, oops, right here. Now, of course, the car is back further, so it's going to be smaller, of course. But I feel like that's got to be a smaller vehicle, like a compact vehicle, like the Scion. It would be interesting to measure from the truck to the road. I'm sure there's got to be some ways to do some measurements to get maybe a approximate guess on the tail light to the headlights. I'm sure there's got to be a way. And maybe figure out the headlight itself. Because we can see that. Let me go to this right here. We can see this, which I wonder if that's part of the headlight itself. I don't know. Let me know what you think in chat. But I think, again, it's something I'm going to have to study throughout the night. But I think there could be some ways that we could kind of get something that gives us an idea of what the vehicle could be. But motorbike, wouldn't that be really loud though? Not to say it couldn't be. CP has a truck that tows a 5-wheel camper. I would like to know what the other family members have, Man, if one of them had a Scion or, something compact like that, I would be like, oh, shit. The security work van. Oh, Brinks. Oh, Brinks. Brinks. Oh, my God. Brinks vehicle. Side view. God, that would be... no. Is that the one she has, or do they have like a different one? It is compact, but it's got different lights. Yeah, I think that would be a little too... I like the thinking, though. I definitely like the outside of the box. Yeah, I think that would be too... stick out too much. Yeah, Barbara said it's I said Siam but it's a cube type car. It's half the size of the truck, so it fits. Yeah, it's got to be smaller. Now, keep in mind, obviously, the perspective's going to be off because, it is further away. So it's... But I do feel like it is kind of a compact vehicle. But man, I don't know. Transit van. Oh yeah. It's got to have a taillight like this. That's what I'm gonna do after I get off live. So I'm gonna be looking at taillights. And maybe I'll come out with a video. Let me know in the chat for those that are rewatching. The one last thing I want to mention is I know that people are saying that the light comes back as well. And I just wanted to say, the one thing you got to remember is we don't know, because the videos were just kind of released, randomly. Even though it is going back, is it actually before the lights come out? So actually, this is actually subject to walking to the house. And then the video that came out first where the subject is coming back, it's actually in that order. So I was just kind of wondering, because a lot of when people mention that the subject actually comes back and it makes it sound like after they had came out, I do wonder if it's actually just reversed. And because, of course, the timestamp is off. So, without a timestamp, we can't really know the order of the events going on in these videos. So Crystal, it totally has a taillight. Sorry if I missed it. Nissan Cube. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at them after, for sure. I'll just make sure I don't miss anything. So I'll continue to research, and if you want to send me something via email, please try not to blow up my email though, because I've been getting a lot of messages. Mostly it's all amazing support, and I do appreciate
Direction
everybody.
of the camera.
But I think we're going to finish there. We're trying to get the memberships up. Of course, I have a Patreon page as well. I also have a second channel where I do paranormal. It's just once a week. If you're into that kind of stuff, I do a bunch of different stuff. Documentary style, top 5 stuff. I just started though, so there's only 3 videos. But if you want to check that out, links in the description. If by chance I missed a donation or something, thank you, and I'll try to shout you out in the next live. Glue bug. Oh, I appreciate that. We're gonna put a little bit more together for sure. Awesome, thank you, Cecilia. We'll check it out for sure. But in my opinion, I think all this, the two things are connected. So we'll leave with that. But again, I appreciate y'all being here. You guys are amazing. I will have a members live Sunday, maybe tomorrow, so I'll let the members know. But we're going to try to do something different with the members and try to have some new fun stuff that I talked about, where if we hit certain goals, I'll do something wild. and I'll let you guys pick it. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Another YouTuber inlaid a vehicle, thought it was a Bowersock's mom. Anyone remember? I'll have to look and see if I can look at their vehicles and see what they have. That would be interesting. What's up, True Crime with Eve? So again, huge shout out to Jennifer, Copper Horse, Karen, D. I know Jocelyn had to go to work. And I know I'm forgetting somebody, but again, the mods, you guys are amazing. Thank you for all the hard work. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. That goes to everybody. And we'll be back. Of course, if you're new to the channel, I usually go live 3 times a week, and then I do videos in between. So usually there's content coming out just about every day. So please hit subscribe and that notification bell, and we'll have more videos out coming soon. With that, we're going to head out. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.